Hello and welcome to Morning Coffee with Maddog Merv. We're coming at you from a little different angle today in the Oasis. It was an off-the-hook Halloween. We'll get into it in a minute, and we'll tell you about the other stuff going on in the channel. Let's get to it. Welcome to Morning Coffee. Maddog Merv today. Got our French roast this morning again. No wonder I'm a big fat guy. I mean, holy cow. I always had a schmear. A schmear. He's probably going for bagels. He's trying to steal. Oh my gosh, I can't even believe it.
I have no clue.
And I got a bunch of chores to do. Oh, who wants to do that? So first thing this morning, I want to give a shout out to a channel called Duncan Rhodes Painting Academy. And come across him because of this Warhammer painting that I've been doing. And mostly it's, for me, a reference of, since I don't know these figures, don't know how they're supposed to be painted, I'm not into all that stuff, but I gotta see somewhere, what I'm supposed to do. So I've checked out a couple of different channels on YouTube, and Duncan Rhodes has got some very interesting techniques. Particularly, he does a lot of blending, a lot of filtering, and honestly, it's something I've given a lot of resistance to over the years. But to see how he does it and have him explain it, the light has come on in my head on a couple of different items as far as how to paint and how to paint miniatures particularly, and brush control and all that kind of stuff. So I'm sure you'll get something out of him. Whether or not you're into Warhammer and painting figures or not, I really think you can get something out of his channel and just his techniques and things like that, learning from him. So check him out. Duncan Rhodes Painting Academy. Yes, Cruella. So let's see. Last week we did the walkthrough of the attraction, and the last couple. Well, not really the last couple, but the major portion of the pieces that I did work on for this display this year. And I hope that was something you guys got something out of. Hope that it was something you liked. The walkthrough went over great. Normally I was really concerned because normally I get 25 trick-or-treaters. I live on a side street. So there's a major road, a major artery, road, state road, can't even remember, 68 I think it is, that is a couple of blocks that way. It has some feeder streets down into the subdivision that are kind of secondaries, as I call them, and then they branch off into smaller little residential streets. A lot of them dead end at some point, or they have cul-de-sacs on them. I can't remember what it's called, but a short street that has a circle, not an actual circle street, but a street that winds up with a circle at the end. I live on a street that goes from one secondary, kind of makes a turn and goes to another residential street. So I don't get a lot of foot traffic through here. I get more since they built some apartments not far away. But the point being, I wasn't getting a lot of trick-or-treaters in the past years. Last couple of years, we've decorated, get 25, maybe 30 if we're lucky. This year had over 80. And for me, that was like, wow, how wonderful. A lot of people commented on, they drive by every day or they walk by and they see the display and they absolutely love it. Had some that just wanted to take pictures with the animatronics. Had a couple of kids that got scared. The Plague Doctor he's pretty terrifying. I really like him. It's my favorite animatronic that I've got. He scared a few kids. It was great. We had such a great Halloween here. And I hope you guys enjoyed that walkthrough. I'm going to try and make it bigger and better next year, because we did learn a lot on what we need to do to make it happen really good. So we're gonna try that next year. Kit Hoarder Stash, we had that 2-in-1 Panther, which is very deceiving because even when I looked at the box, I'm expecting to open it up. It's a big box, so I'm expecting to see 2 Panther kits in there. You know, this is where some of these companies I really have issue with, and TACOM is one of them. I want to say, whether they do it on purpose to be deceptive or not, I don't know. But there's some things that they do that are deceptive. And like this is one of them. They could have just shown the tank with 1 turret, and then they could have shown another turret over here. Or they could have put a smaller box, a smaller picture, I should say, with a turret on that. And it could have just said, or optional turret, No, it doesn't. And so you're led to believe you're getting 2 kits. And for the price they charge, yeah, you think you're getting 2 kits. Fortunately, I got it at a 50% off sale, so it wasn't horrible. I open it up, and there's 1 kit. And it's good. It's a good kit. You guys saw it. It's pretty detailed. Lots of parts. I'm not a big fan of lots of parts, but those Chinese companies just seem to love to give us lots of parts. There's even some extra parts, yay. But I'm going to have 2 really cool turrets and 1 chassis to put it on. So what do I do with the other turret? I don't appreciate that kind of what I call dishonesty in business. And to me, that's what it is. With that said, the kit does look good to me. I am going to build it eventually, but we'll see what happens there. Coming up on the main show tomorrow, I'm gonna do something a little different. Of course, I think pretty much everything I do is a little bit different, but I hate to say that it's taken me this long to discover what I'm going to show you tomorrow. So I feel a bit sheepish. I feel dumb. Let's just put it that way. But when I finally connected the dots and went, oh, this could be really cool. So what I want to show you guys tomorrow is I'm going to assemble one of my kits, one of my boxes that I'm going to keep in the house for the winter. It's getting to be that time of year. So we've had some up and down weather this last week. I knew it wasn't going to hold through to Halloween, and we were able to barely eke Halloween out. But the weather has changed. We have been getting rain, and it's cold. This morning, actually have a decent morning for a minute. But according to the forecast, no, the bottom's going to drop out of this. We're going to get below freezing, all that kind of fun stuff for our lows. So it's time for me to get everything put away. And tomorrow, what I want to cover is I'm going to put together this box of stuff that I need to decorate bases. So the little bases that come on the wargaming figures, I found that you can buy those separately, and you can buy them in bulk. And all of a sudden, the light went on in my head. Ding! I have all of these 35th scale. I have some 48th scale, and I even have some 32nd scale figures that they look okay, but they're either not on a base or they're on some flat piece of plastic that looks hokey and cheap. And I went, oh, I could actually put them on a real base and make them look cool. I know, it took me forever to put that together. So here I am working on putting some of these bases together. But now that the weather's changed, like I said, I'm going to have to do that in the house, in my office, for the winter. So I'm going to show you guys the stuff that we're going to use for the basing material. I've covered some stuff in other shows before and other how-tos before, but this one will be a little bit different. This will be specific for these bases that I'm going to do. This isn't necessarily diorama basing. This is, for single figures. So if you're interested, check that out. I think it's going to be an interesting show for you. Not sure what to do for the stash this week. I've got a whole bunch of stuff that we could look at. I'm trying to think if I've got any actual kits that I can review at the moment, but I've got a bunch of other stuff. So maybe we'll take a look at. But we'll have a show on Thursday. So stay tuned for whatever that winds up being. So as I already said, Halloween was a huge success as far as I was concerned here, with more than double what I've had in the past couple of years. I would definitely call that a success. The other problem is not everyone on the street participates. That is a problem. Years ago, when my kids were little, it was all over the place. But now, not a lot of people in this area participate anymore. So on my street, I think there was a total of 4 out of the 15 houses that that are here that participated. I had people coming from the secondary street, which is I don't know, about 60, 70 yards that way. I had people coming from that secondary street down here because they could see the lights and whatnot from the display. So they would come down here and then they'd just go back that way and hit other houses. So it was nice that I was drawing people down here. I've been really heavily working on these figures for my son and made a lot of progress on those, and I have been learning tons. I didn't go into this project of painting these Warhammer figures for my son so I could learn. I figured I was going to do something that I could hand down to my son and my grandson, that someday they could say, yeah, my dad painted this. This is something my dad did for me, that kind of thing. Something nostalgic for when I'm not here anymore. I never figured that I was going to learn the amount of stuff that I've learned in this very short time about how to paint figures, about brushes, about brush control. Been learning part of why my brushes go to crap so easy. And I definitely am going to need to buy some more brushes for Christmas. That's on my Christmas list this year. Some more good brushes. But some of these video tutorials that the gaming guys put out. Now, some of them I kind of chuckle at because they're obviously, these guys are making good money on YouTube. They're sponsored by these, huge corporations, and that's great for them. It's obvious. Oh, and today's product is, it's like, oh, come on, you guys. That's fine. I'm good for them, and I'm learning a lot from them. One of the things that I'm learning the most is these layering techniques and these Citadel paints that I've never ever paid attention to. I'm not a huge fan of acrylics. These Citadel paints are tipping my scale this way. I'm really liking these paints. The one thing I have noticed, this is why I'm packing stuff up, taking it in the house, is that even though it hasn't frozen out here yet, it's getting cooler. I'm in the low 40s right now at this moment, and the paint is nice and thick. So I don't want it like that. I want to be able to, do their water-based paints, do what I need to do. So I'm going to pack them up, take all that stuff in the house. But what I've been learning, I'm just excited about, because these are techniques I can use in my other figures and my other modeling. And getting back into doing some of these bases for some figures that I think the figures turned out pretty good, but the bases suck. So now I can actually do some really, cool bases. So it's an exciting time for me. I'm having fun. I actually had a few minutes this last week, excuse me, that we went live. We were able to do a live broadcast because, gosh, the kids are gone for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and I'm going to be modeling, so I might as well take you guys along. And if you didn't check out that live, please go back and check that out. It was, maybe an hour long, maybe a little less, but I did some painting and stuff in there, work on these miniatures, and like I said, I'm having a great time doing it, and that's what modeling is all about. Well, lastly, guys, I'm going to let you get off to the rest of your weekend. I've got to try and get these animatronics down and put away, the ones that I'm going to before the snow flies and before it gets really cold, because I don't want to be out here shivering doing this stuff. There's some things I might leave up for a while, but there's some of these that have definitely got to come down now. So I'm going to get going on that. You guys have a great rest of a weekend, and we will see you tomorrow for my basing.